Hey loves, and welcome back to my channel. And today, you guys, I am doing something just a little different. Love Tales is featuring its first sip and share. What's a sip and share? Well, basically, if you saw the last episode, which was the hit and run featuring my friend here, you will know what a sip and share is. We are really talking about that last episode and really getting into the nitty gritty of her experience, her ridiculous experience with it. And this is the first time we're doing this, so this is something new. With that being said, let me introduce my lovely friend Faith.
Hi everyone.
Which was Danny in the last episode.
Yes.
Welcome to the set of LT, Love Tales.
I love it.
First, before we get started, I do want to congratulate you.
Thanks.
Faith just got her master's from Georgetown. Woo-hoo!
Shout out to the Warriors.
So let's cheers.
Yeah.
We'll sip real quick and then we'll get to the sharing of the story. But how are you feeling?
I feel good. You know, I'm excited, one, that the episode is out there. It was like a moment of release for me because if you guys saw it, it could be a little traumatizing. Like, the experience overall was something that I would have never imagined happening to me, my friends, or anybody I know. It really was something that came out of a movie. So it was therapeutic. Yeah, it was therapeutic.
You can't make this shit up.
Basically.
That's what the dating world has become. We can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
Actually, explain to the people watching. Just give them a synopsis of what happened.
Oh, girl.
It could be a quick one.
Okay. And it's funny because every time I tell somebody this story, it's almost like I have to relive it a little bit.
You do.
And I'm a little shocked each and every time. So I'm going to give you a quick synopsis because, of course, you could watch the video for the full idea. But overall, I met up with this guy. We were supposed to go on a date, something quick, just drinks and maybe a light little snack or something like that, which turned into a full adventure culminating in a car accident where he crashed into 4 parked cars, all impacting my side, and then left me on the corner. Literally.
Your best friend to come rescue you.
All for my best friend to come rescue me. So shout out to my best friend Shay, because without her, who knows what would have happened.
And Shay actually played herself in the episode.
Yeah.
However, yo, thank God for girlfriends. Yo, sis out there. Look, if you don't have true girlfriends, you need them. You need them, okay?
Seriously.
They hold you down, especially in times of need like these. And you said something about reliving. You do relive. It's like when I wrote the book, and like people be like, oh, this chapter, I'm like, what did that chapter say? Like, I don't remember everything I wrote, but I don't want to. I don't want to, because in writing I had to relive.
Yeah.
And then in promote, like, it's just, it takes you back down an emotional journey that you don't necessarily want to revisit, especially if you removed yourself from it. So I'm sorry that you're in this position today, but I promise it won't be that long. So real quick, he hit you up on social media, am I right?
Yeah.
And you were comfortable with it because it was somebody you knew. Yeah.
We went to school together. Hadn't talked since then really, but you know, I feel like in this age, I'm 28 for those who may care. I don't know if my future husband may watch this. I'm 28, so and still single.
Hello.
So yeah, he hit me up and I'm just open to having fun, going on dates, whatever. So when he was like, we should link, let's grab drinks, I'm like, for sure. Like, I'm open, I'm not doing anything. Let's meet up. He asked to meet me on 8th Street. Somehow we end up on U Street. Somehow we end up in a car accident. So.
But you agreed to it based on your previous knowledge of him. So in high school, he was the kind of guy that,
he was definitely the kind of guy that you would want to go out with, I guess. Like, super athletic, smart, funny, attractive. So I wasn't opposed to going on a date, just to see what's up with the what's up.
The version of him was something that was completely different from the version that you once knew.
Yeah, and I'm actually starting to realize that that's everybody. Like, everybody is completely different from who they were in high school. So if you're considering to go down memory lane with anybody, spark up a new flame, visit an old flame, think twice.
Prior to meeting him, in your communication, were there any signs that this might be a fool?
Nope.
So the very first incident that happened, which was him wanting to sit on his friend's porch, was that the first one, the liquor store and the friend's porch?
Yeah. So when I pull up to like the scene of where the date is supposed to take place, I'm looking for him. He approaches me at my car, and even like the attire for the date, I was already like, is this what you chose to wear like your first time out? But you know, I'm trying not to be judgmental. I'm turning over a new leaf in my life where I'm a little more patient. So I'm just like, hey, how are you doing? We definitely started off with a warm embrace. It seemed like it was going to be a good night. And then, yeah, we slowly walked past several restaurants where we could have had said drink, and ended up at a liquor store where he wanted to buy a bottle instead of, you know, purchasing beverages where one would assume you would do that on a date.
So was it in that moment you were like, this might not be exactly what I thought it would be?
No, ironically, and this could be me just being overly optimistic, but
we've all been there.
Yeah. I was just like, and like when it first happened, you know, I don't know who he's purchasing the bottle for, to be fair. Like we find that out a little later that it is for me, but in the beginning, I'm like, oh, maybe he just need to run a quick errand, so grab something that he might need to take back home or something like that, and then we can go where we're going. But as you've seen in the video, we leave the liquor store and he proceeds to ask me, you know, I thought we could just kick it on my cousin's porch. And I'm like, what kind of date is this? Like, were you looking to just have a little kickback or something? Because that wasn't the guise that I was under, of course, when I was asked out. And so I said all that. Like I said, that's not what I came out for. I alluded to, you know, I'm dressed for a date. So regardless of how you showed up, I was ready to go out and have fun. And I looked the part. So I still felt like I should be taken out to a nice restaurant.
As you should have been.
Or a nice, just a nice, even a walk in the park at this rate would have been fine for me. So when I expressed that, he was just like, well, okay, you know, and that's when he suggested that we go to a different street. So for those watching that aren't from the DMV area or not from DC, we have different sort of like corridors where the street is literally filled with bars and restaurants. You just park your car and start walking and you could literally end up anywhere. And so 8th Street happens to be one of those places where there are all types of bars and restaurants, hookah lounges, the world's your oyster. But
for a nice night out.
Right. But U Street is also equivalent to 8th Street. A little more popular for some, but for a first date and a first time out, either one would have been perfectly fine. So I agreed, like, okay, we can go to U Street. Let's do it. And that started a whole new adventure.
That was a whole new adventure in itself. Yes. But let's fast forward to the end of the night. The impact, you jumping out. In that moment, when you're sitting there waiting for Shay to literally come rescue you from the corner, how did you feel?
I was kind of in shock. So I don't know if I felt any particular emotion. Like I wasn't scared, so I wasn't like crying. I wasn't freaked out. Like after the impact and I realized that I was all in one piece, I was whole. My first instinct was get the hell out the car. Like, you need to take a moment and regroup, and you can't do that strapped into this vehicle next to this man. And so yeah, that's what I did. I got out, and before I even got my bearings, he had sped off. So I was even more, like I'm telling you, you can't make it up. I'm not lying.
Now, I've been driven off on before. It was not after an impact, but That was episode 1.
Got it. But yeah, for me, it was just like a mix of watching him like drive away. My first moment was just, okay, let me call my best friend. She lives in the neighborhood where we were at. And I was just like, you know, you have to come get me. And even her reaction was like, what do you mean? I thought you were on a date. And I was just like, girl, just come get me right now. And then we can explain. So yes. Again, ride or die friends are needed in this lifetime, because sometimes you don't have time to explain in the moment, but you just need somebody that you can depend on to pull up. And that's what she did. So
did you ever hear from him again? Did he actually reach out? When he did, what was your response? How did you feel? You know, the fact that he was reaching out well, you didn't go out with him yet, so I guess you would not have considered it, but yeah.
So he actually hit me up as soon as I got in the car with my friend. He told me something was wrong with his tire, and I guess that's why he lost control of the car or whatever. That doesn't really explain why he left me on the corner, and I guess I'll never really find that out. But he asked me if I wanted to link back up. And of course I was like, no.
I'm sure.
And then, well, I kind of want to go back for a second.
Go back.
Because I need to explain to y'all why I answered the phone when he called. Because I'm sure there are some people who were just like, well, why would you even pick up after he left you on a corner? So because of everything that just transpired, I answered the phone in case he might be hurt, or in case something else happened. You know, I'm not a heartless or careless person, so I just wanted to make sure he was good at the moment. And when I found out that he was okay, I was just like, okay, cool. You don't have to call me no more ever again. And so speed up when my best friend drops me off to my car. When I get in the car, he sends me a text message and asks to go on another date where he won't drive or drink. So
we saw the episode. That liquor store was part of the issue. Okay, so looking back and when you reflected, even when you reached out to me, it was like, let me tell you this story because I have a blog for you. What were your feelings? What were your thoughts? Like, did you take a break from dating? Like, yeah.
So I think I did ultimately take a break from dating, because for me that was my final straw of like, all right, maybe I just need to, maybe it's time to focus on you, sis.
Maybe I just need to head out.
So that's why I was like, maybe it's time to focus on you. I honestly wrote the blog again because I just needed that therapy to just get over
very therapeutic.
What happened. The whole night's event were so, what is the word? Indescribable, outrageous. It was beyond me.
Yeah.
Where I had called my brother, I called my friends, I called my mom. I was like, listen, I have to tell y'all what happened to make sure I'm not tripping. Like, let me make sure I'm not wrong before, you know, I go and put this on blast, because this is something, again, where you can't make it up. So I'm like, let me just make sure that nobody else has had a similar experience to this before I share my story. And so I was right. Even my brother was just like, what happened?
And what is so beyond me? So I remember one of my experiences, and I reached out to my cousin, who is like my big brother, and I asked him, like, what should I do? He was like, okay, do you just pick guys so you can write stories about them? Because that's what is that what you're going for? He's like, 'cause this stuff is like, it's really like a movie. You really can't make this stuff up. It's really, what she says is beyond her. It's probably beyond all of us. And for those of you out there who have had stories yourselves, I'm sure you can agree / relate. So yeah, I totally get it being beyond you and making you question reality.
Seriously. And then to your point about, do you purposely go out to meet people
Never.
like this? No.
Never.
Like,
Never.
it's not written on any of my Sierra prayers at all. Trust and believe. Like,
you really actually go into it with
an open mind.
Optimistic outlook, and it turns out to be just flat out foolishness. So no, I totally get it.
And a couple people have asked me, because if you've seen the episode, you know that the date seemed like it was a long time to be out. And then people ask me, why did you stay to experience all those different things? And again, I say, honestly, we were probably out for maybe like an hour and a half. Like, maybe 2 hours max.
That happened in that short period of time? This is the first time I'm hearing that.
It wasn't an all-day date. We were literally out for maybe like 2 hours. Like,
so he had to have been slightly intoxicated before you even laid eyes on him.
I guess, huh?
Okay. So you've been doing this for a while now. You've been dating for a while now in this area. Back in your hometown of Washington, D.C. Describe dating here in your 20s.
Ooh, girl, Corey. Let me take a sip. I can't. Let's see. I've been using the apps. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. I'm on all of them. Except I'm only on Hinge now.
But you've been. You've tried.
I've been around. All of them, I probably have maybe had like 1 or 2 successful dates from the apps. So, not saying I knock it, but I'm just saying I also haven't found what I'm looking for yet. But yeah, it's been a mix of getting hit up by people I used to know, because I am originally from DC. So I think it probably might be a little bit harder if you're brand new to the city, because you have all types of jokers that will come at you. At least for me, I can kind of weed some of them out, because I'm like, nah, you remind me of my neighbor, so I'm good. And no shade to anybody in my neighborhood. But yeah, it's been an experience, to say the least. I've definitely dated the spectrum. So like, age ain't nothing but a number to me. I've gone out on a couple of dates with older guys. I've gone on dates with slightly younger men. But yeah, I still haven't found my Prince Charming, so.
I think in the book, I remember moving here and knowing, this was Chocolate City at one point.
It was.
When I moved here, it was Chocolate City. And that was one of my things. I was like, I'm going to find my Coco Prince Charming. Ooh, I just know he there. Girl, bye. 14, 15 years later, here I am.
He's coming. I'm still claiming it. He's coming.
He's coming. I'm claiming it too. I don't know if he's here. I might have to go elsewhere to find him. But that was a myth I told my little self. If you could change one thing about the dating process, what would it be?
Honestly, it would be the level of honesty that these dudes come forward with. In recent experiences, I would just rather not have my time wasted. Like, I feel like, on the first date, I could be right in front of you and decide if I'm gonna see you again, I'm never seeing you again. Like, this was it, one and done. But it's just those subsequent dates sometimes where you're like, oh, we're starting to look up, and like, you're holding on that little bit of hope, and then he reveals like something he could have said 3 months ago. I don't know what's up with y'all guys, but y'all will wait. Just wait. Why wait it out? Like, you don't need to do that. So I would probably just change that. Like, how honest and upfront people are from jump with what they're looking for, what their goals are, and what they're trying to do. Like,
what they're trying to do. And I think even on my because I've done dating apps too, and I think the last one I have done was Hinge. I've been across the spectrum, child. All of them. Before they were apps, it was online. So I've been across. Okay? But one of the things I put on my page, on my profile, is I say, tell me what you're here for. Like, why? What are we doing? What are you interested in? Just so I know how to approach the situation.
Right.
So I know whether to run, to walk, to
have a blast.
Exactly.
Because listen, sometimes
we just want to have fun. Right.
Have fun. But
right, exactly.
Let me know so I could level set my expectations.
Exactly. And I know how to approach it from there. That's huge. I guess for me, over the years, I would definitely say a level of inconsistency is what I would change. So yeah,
I probably would amen to that too. I mean, to be honest, there are several things I would change.
There's several things. There's a bunch of stuff you could just grab out of the air. But yeah, that's one of the things I would also say needs to be adjusted amongst, I would say, guys.
And to be fair, I won't put the onus just on men, because there are some women who are nuts too.
We're not talking about them. We're talking about them.
I mean, I'm sorry, ladies, but I have also heard stories from a male perspective.
Because I have a lot of male friends.
Yeah. And sometimes,
but they're not here. You are. So we can address their issues when one of them come on the Sip and Share. All right. But right now I'm all for the ladies. So no, where are you currently when it comes to dating and relationships? Where are you? What's your status? What do you hope for? Things of that nature. I know. Me too. Girl.
So, I'm still single, ready to mingle.
And this incident happened how long ago?
Which one? Oh, look, there's multiple. This one. The end of 2018, so like around October, November 2018.
Okay.
Then I went on a little dating hiatus until like March of 2019, and then I found myself in an entanglement. So, yeah, I'm fresh out of all of that, clean slate, starting over, quarantine. This is even an interesting time and to try to date. Like, I'm used to occasionally being hollered at walking down the street, and like I'm fine with that on occasion, but
it gives you a little confidence boost, like,
yeah, like, okay, I look good today. All right, but now with the mask and everything that you have to have on.
That's what I said. I mean, I'm like, ain't nobody. I don't know how you look. You don't know how I look.
And it's just like, I feel like
and
now
that is a thing of the past.
Yeah, now more than ever, people are on these apps and stuff like that. So it could look up for a lot of people. Like, there could be a surge in people who find love online. So I'm open to that.
Let's hit that. So I'm gonna just tell you a real quick story, real quick story. With that being said, so since we were quarantining, I was very curious to know what people were doing, and I was like, you know, if you meet somebody online, or you can't really meet them. So what I found out, a lot of people are Zoom dating.
Oh yeah, Zoom, FaceTime.
Yeah, and meet each other that way. So I was like, oh, that's cute. I wasn't online. I wasn't doing anything at the time. And then I was like, oh, I can Zoom date. That's easier. Let me see what people are doing. Because maybe I can write a little story about it. Maybe that time I really was fishing. I was fishing, looking for something to write / talk about. It ended up in a damn entanglement. Myself. That's what Love Tales get me. I be trying to entertain y'all and I end up in stuff. Apparently. This one time, I used it. Yeah. And so yeah, that's my status, an entanglement.
Yeah, I'm open and I'm optimistic. Like,
I will say this much. You have to stay optimistic.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason I like to do this, is because yes, we do have those experiences, and it allows us to reflect. It allows us to figure out, did we do something wrong? Where in the process could we have improved ourselves? But it also allows us to sit back, take a drink, and say, girl, this is what happened to me. And and it happened, your sis might be able to relate, it happened to me too. And then on to the next. It's not, I discourage anybody from being discouraged to date because you have these experiences
or just
that
like
aren't the best.
Being bitter. Like,
exactly.
I have had my fair share of experiences that I could have lived without. But
ditto.
Every time I go through them, like, yes, they're sometimes traumatizing and emotionally draining in that moment. But when you reflect back on, to your point, like the self-reflection of what did you do in it, because we always play a part except for this date, because I played no parts. I guess my role was, sis, know when to leave, know when to fold them. Know when to fold them.
But that was a lesson in itself.
Right. So yeah, there's always a learning moment with every situation. So as long as there's no hurt, harm, or damage that comes to you, like physically and truly emotionally, where it sends you off the deep end, I think there's no need to be bitter or discouraged. Like, one day the right one's gonna come and you're gonna be like, see, I went through all those things because I needed to be ready for this dude. Like, and I just feel like, you know, I can look back on the situation and laugh now. At the time when these things happen, they're not funny. And, you know, sometimes you cry, sometimes you want to yell, scream, whatever. But when you really, like, look back on, like, those missteps when, like, in dating and stuff like that, it's just, sometimes it's pretty hilarious. Like, my dating stories now, I'm just like, wow, that's wild. And this is like, this takes the cake though. Nothing is.
I would say this takes the cake, and I pray for you.
I hope it was rock bottom.
Me too. Me too. Me too. But that's definitely the purpose of Love Tales. It's, you know, you go through these situations and they are not the best in the moment, but at least you can look back and laugh.
Yeah. And
you can move forward and hope, like I said before, hopefully you've learned something from that experience. With that being said, you guys, that is our time. We hope that you enjoyed watching our first Sip and Share.
I'm glad I could be number one.
Thank you, girl, for reaching out, saying I have a story for you, because I love telling stories, and I don't have to just tell my own. We are all in this together. You know, we help each other through this. So until next time, XO.